So today I'm taking my last Mono Blue combo deck, changing it up slightly and seeing how good it can actually be on the Mythic ladder without all that jank. Hey everyone, Hex here, with a quick video where we are playing my new Mono Blue non-Haughty Djinn deck on the Mythic ladder. But before we get into that, I really appreciate your massive support for this channel, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button below as we close in on 1,000 subscribers. You won't want to miss out on future content and you'll be massively helping out the channel in the meantime. But onto this deck, and I've taken my last blue combo deck, which really surprised me how well it actually did, and I've adjusted it slightly to make it more competitive and less janky. So feel free to watch that video where we include Triska Decafile to win with its alternate win condition. But let's briefly talk about this deck and how we win here. There are no Haughty Djinns here. This deck basically revolves around Teferi and loads of card draw, including one amazing new card. We're using Teferi Temporal Pilgrim to win us the game. It's a 4-starting loyalty 5-cost planeswalker that says when you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on it. For 0, draw a card. For -2, create a 2/2 spirit token that has vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a +1 counter on it. For -12, which is very possible in this deck, target opponent chooses a permanent they control and then shuffles all other non-land permanents into their deck. Now, we aren't just relying on Teferi for card draw, we are using one other very special card. It's Flow of Knowledge. It says for 5 mana and as an instant, draw a card for each island you control, then discard 2. Hopefully this will be at least 5 cards, and we'll put 5 loyalty counters on both Teferi and 5 +1/+1 counters on the Spirit too. So you play this on your opponent's end step for maximum value, or even attack, and if your creature is unblocked, surprise your opponents with a huge pump. Flow of Knowledge is such a good card in mono blue decks. Our other card draw is with the Celestus and Silver Scrutiny. There's a lot of math to be done with this deck when deciding how many cards to draw, but it's truly worth it when it actually finally comes off. Other creatures are Academy Loremaster, a sweet wizard that allows both players to draw an extra card, but your spells this turn cost 2 more. And we're running Ledger Shredders, which both draw and filter your hand too. Interaction wise, we have Fading Hopes, Syncopates and Negates. We're playing a full set of Witness Protections to shut down our opponent's creatures without bouncing them, and I've included some evasion tactics too, because one problem I have faced with the tokens are that they can be blocked by 1/1s. So having an Urza's Rebuff to clear the path and Security Bypass to create an unblockable creature that draws cards is a vital inclusion here. We've got 25 lands and that's our deck. This deck is loads of fun to play. You definitely want to make sure you have Teferi by turn 5 though, as it's key to winning. But let me know in the comments if you would make any changes to the list, as I'm really keen to explore it further as the season progresses. Alright, on the play, and I mean this is an almost perfect hand for us with the turn 1 interaction and a couple of our cheap spells, and then we've got Flow of Knowledge to catch us back up into the game, draw us a ton of cards later on. So we'll keep this. Opponent mulligans, and we'll just drop an island. See what they play. Okay, it's a mountain. Probably not what I wanted to see. I would prefer a slower game, but play with fire to our face, so you've got to expect some kind of prowess deck maybe. They might not know what we're doing, so we'll play this Ledger Shredder now. If they have removal, they have removal. I mean, they're going to have to play it at some point, and I'd rather them kill the Ledger Shredder than our Academy Loremaster. As the game progresses, that card's going to get us a lot more value. Most of our spells are played at instant speed, so we have no problem in drawing extra cards in our upkeep. But yeah, we'll give the opponent an option to play or to draw an extra card if they want to. Their spells this turn would be taxed. They may be just a burn deck, so this might actually benefit them. We'll see. I really feel there's something in this blue deck, and I really want to find sort of any improvements I could make as we go along. So if you do find any, if you do think of any, let me know in the comments below. In this case, we're going to just Fading Hope this squee and keep our tempo going. Another Teferi there isn't what we need. Counter spell. Alright. And another Teferi. Oh, so pick 3 Teferis in the top, like 10 cards or so. But the 2 counter spells are going to keep us in this game for a while. Just want to hit some land drops though, so we can drop a Teferi, drop our Flow of Knowledge, and hopefully win the game there. Opponent chooses not to draw an extra card. And it's a Thundering Raiju. Alright, well, yeah, we can't let that hit the battlefield. That will absolutely swarm us way too quickly. We'll just draw an extra card and we'll hold open the counter spells. We draw a Negate. Probably not going to be great in this matchup. Thing with Flow of Knowledge, you do have to discard 2 cards as well. So a card like Negate is great to discard. But yeah, we're getting a little bit of chip damage in here with our 2-3. My original deck had Triska Decafile in it, and we even managed to pull off a remarkable win with Triska Decafile. It was a little bit janky, however, I did so well playing my games that a lot of people actually mentioned that this might be quite good actually in a more competitive field. So that's what this video is about here. Kind of with a Kumano, well, I'm not going to negate that. I'd rather negate a bigger spell. And I'm not going to draw an extra card here, mainly because I'm going to get Teferi down. Now, we're going to find, well, we're going to create a 2-2 here. Opponent has open mana. They need to kill the 2-2. I think they might, if they have it, they'll want to go after Teferi, but it's the 2-2. That is what I want on the battlefield. I don't actually care too much about Teferi at the moment. Okay, let's play with fire. Yeah, down goes Teferi. So we do have another one in our hand anyway. I'm not going to attack as we want to try and preserve our life total. The Loremaster's kind of done what it needed to do. We'll see what we draw next though, but you can instantly see that we have 4 islands on the battlefield, so Flow of Knowledge is going to draw 4 cards. It's going to put 4 +1/+1 counters on our 2-2. Opponent with Creepy Puppeteer, okay, and a Rabbit Battery. Nice little combo here, because when they attack with both, they're going to be able to turn the battery into a 4-3. I did not expect this, I must admit. But we'll take 9 and we'll go down to 8. So we find a Silver Scrutiny. And yeah, the game looks difficult to win from here. So one of the more tricky things I've realised with this deck is knowing when to draw additional cards, knowing, sort of having to work out what you're going to play on your turn, what you're going to play on your next turn. I did draw an additional card here because we're all in on the Flow of Knowledge here. We'll play our island and yeah, just say go. So all our spells, apart from Teferi, are at instant speed. It was all whether we wanted to play Teferi that turn. So we just got to survive this turn, and I think we're in great position, especially with the Silver Scrutiny as well in our hand. Opponent gets an opportunity here to draw an extra card. They're quite low on cards, so maybe they might want to do it this turn. They do draw an extra card, okay. Well, Mono Red should be one of our sort of worst matchups. Our best matchups are against sort of creature-heavy, mid-range decks. Aggro decks, not so good, and control decks, if we can manage to control their control, we should be golden. But this game seems difficult to win from here, especially with the Phoenix Chick and the Creepy Puppeteer. But our opponent has no way going to expect us to draw 5 cards right now and make our 4-4 and 9-9. We'll see how they attack. If they attack with everybody, we should be okay. I'm sure they're going to attack with this Phoenix Chick. Okay, they attack with a Puppeteer as well. Alright, now do we block with a 4-4 or the 2-3? Because we are presenting a massive attack next turn if we can play the Flow of Knowledge this turn. But we also have the Urza's Rebuff in our hand, and not only does that counter things, it also taps down opponents' creatures. So there might be other ways to have played this turn, but this is what I did, and I have rewatched this video several times, and I think it's the best thing I've done. I think I'm 1 mana short of being able to rebuff, play Silver Scrutiny, then next turn play the Flow of Knowledge to win the game. So we're going to have to hope for some kind of way to get that extra damage through. So we can tap down the opponent's creatures here, and we will do 12 damage, including our draw step. But then we still need to draw 4 cards to enable our creature to get... Oh, okay, opponent reconfigures. They don't see what's necessarily going on. So hopefully we draw a Fading Hope. That would win us the game. Do we want to draw an additional card this turn? Probably not. We need to maximize our mana, and we're going to try and win the game now. Luckily, our 10-10 has Vigilance, so if we can't kill the opponent, then at least we can keep a blocker on board. The Phoenix Chick is slightly annoying, but again, we have the Urza's Rebuff if we need to. So we have a lot of outs with Fading Hopes. So I went for Flow of Knowledge first, just in case we could find a Fading Hope. Unfortunately, we drew quite a lot of land there. No Fading Hope. And yeah, we managed to get our creature up to a 16/16, so they're going to have to block that. So they are going to lose this 2/2. I don't know if there was another way to do this and we could have won that. I think we were always 1 mana short of winning the game this particular turn. Being confident of doing it. But we have the Legistrator in our hand anyway, so we can just drop that as a blocker. They're going to have to do quite a lot to beat us now though. Another Phoenix Chick would be annoying, but again, we have a blocker. And yeah, we should be okay. But let me know if I missed anything now. I did double check that a couple of times. And opponent scoops it up. We got there. I'm really happy about that against a mono red deck. Alright, on the plate with a pretty nice hand. A couple of our Ledger Shredders and Witness Protections to deal with opponent's threats. Opponent with a tapped Triome, a Jetmir's Garden. Okay, so we'll play a Ledger Shredder here and say go. Feel pretty comfortable that this will stick around. Opponent with a tapped Rakdos land. Alright, so nice little turn here where we can just attack with our 1/3, and I'm just going to play the other Ledger Shredder. I mean, I can't see what the opponent could have that could take out both of these on their turn, so yeah. We'll drop this now and say go. I do wonder what the opponent thinks they're playing against when we drop a couple of islands, but we definitely don't have any Haughty Djinns in this deck. So they needn't worry about that, but they aren't to know. We draw another Witness Protection, which is slightly annoying in the regards that I can't activate these Ledger Shredders just yet. Kind of relying on the opponent to play 2 spells, to be honest. But they're just in the deck for some sort of incremental value over time. Opponent with the Elder Dragonmaw was debating whether to negate this, as it is a target for negate and I'm not sure how many more the opponent might have, but I opted to allow it to happen. They can't kill our creatures. I'm not sure if they knew that. I guess it does 2 damage to our face. We just draw a land, which is what we want, but I wish we had a way we could put these Witness Protections on something. Kind of wish the opponent went straight for the 4/4, to be honest. But anyway, they get to discard some cards and draw that many cards. Good job there's not a Shielded on the battlefield, as they'll be gaining they could gain a bit of life there. Opponent discarded a Bouncer's Beatdown. Alright, I have no idea what we're necessarily up against, but we'll just keep playing our spells and we'll just keep hanging in there. I would like something to do that isn't just attack with these 1/3s though. An opponent with a Bushwhack, so they're just going to find a land. Okay, so they're probably just lacking a creature here. They might have just drawn that because I would have gone for the Elder Dragonmaw on its 3rd chapter to get something on the battlefield. But anyway, we find an Urza's Rebuff, so it's more interaction, so not really much we can do here, just attack and say go. Yeah, so these mid-range decks are definitely what our deck is best suited to. They do obviously get a 4/4 now, but we've got now a target for Witness Protection, which is pretty nice. We can just rebuff if they want to play a big spell. So I kind of like where we are. Opponent just passes the turn. Okay. Another Ledger Shredder. Alright, well, I definitely don't want to overcommit here, but I do want to deal with this 4/4, so we'll just Witness Protect it and see what happens. And Tamiyo's Safekeeping. Alright. Alright, do we fight this? So far, I feel like the opponent likes this 4/4. So I've gone for Negate because I feel like if they're willing to safekeep it, they might want this to stick around. So Negate's not really doing anything. I guess it dealt with the Saga they put down, but I chose to negate it anyway. And yeah, we get to Connive. Unfortunately, I quite like all my deck, and since we don't have a Teferi yet, we're going to have to hang in there. So just drop a discard a land there. But we now have a 2/4 in the air. And yeah, they've just got 1/1. So I'm fine with negating that. We attack our opponent for 3. And to be honest, they've got so much mana, our Syncopate doesn't really work too well, so we might as well play the Ledger Shredder there. Look, if they have a board wipe, they have a board wipe. But if they don't, well, I feel like they would have used it already, but oh, okay, they do. They've burned down the house. Fair enough. Alright, well, it took out their own creature anyway, and they are down to 11. Kind of wish I didn't play that last Ledger Shredder now, but these things happen. And it's Rift, Liberated, Primeval. Alright, so they're probably a dragon deck then, I guess. With the Saga, the Elder Dragon War. Okay, so Rift, we can either let that go, and then we can play our Witness Protection on it next turn. Or we can just counter it and, yeah, say go. So now I understand what the opponent's doing. They're a domain deck. In fact, it's a similar deck to one that I have played before. The Dragon's Domain deck. So check that out if you want to, but... yeah, we'll just counter that. They've got to have realized, thought that their creature was going to get countered there, to be honest. And we've still got Syncopate if we need it. Sheevan Devastator. Alright, so we could Syncopate that, but it's just a 2-2. I'm more worried about what else they've got following up. But they'll just hit us for 2, so we find a land, which isn't that great. I do make a mistake here. I play Witness Protection and totally forgot it's a 0-0, so it actually makes it a 3-3. So yeah, that was my bad there, but whatever. So I've actually given the opponent more value, and there's a Ziatora, and yeah, I'm pretty happy that I've kept open this Syncopate, and we're able to deal with that. We are out of cards, and for a card draw deck, that isn't great. So we've got so many ways to draw cards, we need to find one of those pretty urgently. And there we go, Flow of Knowledge. Now we could wait for our opponent's turn to play it, but we might find a 2-drop here, so we might as well play it now. And just like that, our hand is pretty much refilled. Such a good card in these mono blue decks, I'm telling you. We do find a Teferi, which is nice, and just got to discard 2 cards. So we'll lose a land. I'm actually going to lose the card draw spell for the minute. We've got so much card draw. Yeah, just pass the turn and hold open the Urza's Rebuff. So once we get Teferi down onto the battlefield, we can go from there. We haven't given them many targets as well for a while for any removal they might be holding in their hand, and they've definitely got something. So that is slightly concerning with creating any tokens with Teferi. That might have been a reason to play the Loremaster last turn, to try and eke out their removal. But we find another island. And yeah, we'll just drop Teferi and go from here. So we'll make a 2-2. I think that these slower games are where our deck works quite well. I'm glad we did manage to find Teferi. Opponent would bite down, okay. Alright, do we counter this? If we don't, our creature dies, they attack down Teferi next turn, we're back to square one. So I am going to counter it. It does leave us kind of shields down if they've got a monster spell in their hand. But yeah, we'll just see how this turn progresses. Opponent goes to attack Teferi anyway. Okay, well, we'll just let that go. Our 2-2 is what's going to win us the game. Trust me, we have enough Teferis in the deck. And this 2-2 is going to, if it sticks around, it's going to start creating a massive monster spirit. So we got the Celestus here and the Loremaster. And that's enough card draw to start pumping our creature. So we play Celestus and the Loremaster. Now, the Loremaster this late in the game isn't the best card against opponents that have so much mana. We're kind of giving them an extra draw step as well. I'm sure they're not going to decline the extra draw from the Loremaster, but it's what we've got at the moment. And our 3-3 has Vigilance. So they've got to deal with this 3-3, I'm telling you. Between the extra draw steps and our Celestus, we're going to find one of our big draw spells in a minute, and we're going to just kill the opponent in one. They are down to 8. Those early Legistrators did a little bit of work pecking away our opponent's life. And they just cycle away their Ziatora. Our creature is going to be at least, well, our token's going to be at least, what, a 5, maybe a 6/6 next turn. Opponent makes some 1/1s. Alright, so they're probably having problems with their own cards. Because I wouldn't have necessarily expected them to make some 1/1s. Okay, they're hitting us for 3, and we'll just take that. Life goes down to 7. Going to gain some life here from the Celestus though. And we get to draw and discard. Well, we are going to keep that Silver Scrutiny, absolutely. And it's another Silver Scrutiny. Alright. Alright, so this is good now. So we're gonna take action, draw another card. Now we can attack first, and we'll see what the opponent does. I mean, they should block. If they don't block, we've got lethal in our hand. We've definitely got ways of making our creature evasive in the deck. I'd love to find one of those, but we haven't really come across any of our creature interaction. I'd like a rebuff now, would be nice. Yeah, they just put a 1/1 in front of the 6/6. Okay, smart. And they don't block the other creature, so they go down to 6. And yeah, our creature has vigilance. Okay, opponent decides to draw another card. So this is a long game. And it's Gwenna, okay. Kind of feel good though that we ended up putting that witness protection on this Devastator, as although it was a mistake necessarily doing it at that point, it has meant it's a ground creature that we can block. Opponent with a Dragon Whelp. Well, we're just going to draw some cards and see where we go from here. So we'll cast the first Silver Scrutiny for 3. We find a Teferi and a Fading Hope, which is nice. I mean, they do have 4 blockers though. Just pass the turn. And let the Celestus trigger. And it's an Urza's Rebuff. Okay, well, I'm going to discard the land. I don't think we need any more land. Another Silver Scrutiny. Okay, okay. So we have the 1 Fading Hope, and we have Urza's Rebuff. So we can tap down 2 creatures and put something else back in their hand. But we'll play Teferi first. So we're going to make another 2/2, just in case our 11/11 doesn't make it to the next round. And because I don't think we can necessarily win here. I mean, we could draw into a win, but I don't think we can actually win. So we'll attack with the 11/11, and we'll just bounce this 1/1 just so the opponent doesn't have an easy block. They're going to have to throw something else in front of it. I guess it's just the 3/3. Yeah, it's the 3/3. And yeah, we've got Urza's Rebuff in case we need to counter anything they do. We could have tapped down maybe the Whelp and the 3/3 there, so they would have had to have blocked with Gwenna, but I'm not really feeling that we're going to necessarily lose from this position, so I mean, no rush. They would need a way to kill this 11/11 plus a board wipe. I guess burn down the house would get rid of Teferi as well. That would be annoying, and then they can find a way to deal with the 11/11, but it's just showing you how powerful these tokens are, and if you can protect them and then just draw cards, not only are you refilling your hands, but you're creating a huge board presence. I do kind of like the opponent's deck though. The whole dragons with Gwenna seems pretty nice. I might look into that one. Opponent with Lightning Strike to our face. Okay, so doing the math, they can pump their Whelp to a 6/3. So we have to negate this. We can't take 3 from the Lightning Strike and then 6 from the Whelp. And it's Junji. Okay. I mean, Junji's annoying in itself. But yeah, by creating the extra token last turn, it means we can cast our Urza's Rebuff, tap down 2 of their creatures, cast our Scrutiny to pump both of our tokens. Oh, they're just attacking Teferi anyway. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was going to say is we could just cast the Scrutiny for like 3 and or even 2, because we'll just draw an extra card with the Loremaster. But we have lethal a couple of different ways here. So really nice game here, showing how impressive the Teferi tokens are with the card draw. And yeah, opponent hasn't really been able to get into us. Those early counter spells on the huge creatures really paid off, and those early ledger shredders as well did enough damage to make this make us able to close the game out quite easily here. Okay, so we'll just decline the invitation here, as we will just yeah, just we've got lethal, so we'll just tap down the 2 creatures in our way and attack our opponent. If for any reason they were able to get rid of the 12/12, we can just Silver Scrutiny to pump the other one. Opponent good games us, and yeah, that was a really enjoyable game, that one. Alright, on the draw, and I really like this hand. We have some witness protection to deal with our opponent's threats, and our Loremaster would help us find the mana we need to cast Teferi. Opponent with Dreams of Steel and Oil. Okay, so they're going to be able to get rid of our Loremaster, which is really annoying. So I did say we had a really good hand. We don't actually have a very good hand at the moment, as we just find a Silver Scrutiny. Okay, so opponent looks like they're on mono black maybe, and okay, duress. All right, so they might be a discard deck. Should be okay. We have card draw. We have our Scrutiny to help us get back into it, which the opponent discards, and well, we do find a ledger shredder. That's pretty nice. So one of the good things about playing against discard decks is when you have no more cards to discard, the opponents sometimes don't have any spells to play, but they've come prepared with the removal as well for our ledger shredder. Okay, another duress. Oh my goodness. All right, well, okay, so we're up against like fierce hand disruption here. We don't have anything to do here, so we just play our island and say go, and it's Misery Shadow. Well, we'll rebuff that because I know what they're trying to do. They're going to just try and kill us with a Misery Shadow, and just pump all their mana into that and keep our hand clear. We'll cast Silver Scrutiny to draw a card, as I was just trying to find a land drop. We find a Loremaster, again, nice card. It might help our opponent a bit though, as they seem to be casting a lot of instants and sorceries. Okay, and they've got a Soul Transfer as well, more removal, but this time just to bring their misery back to their hand. We get to play our Loremaster here. So I wasn't expecting to play against one of these type of decks. And I would have thought our deck would be okay if we can just draw some cards, but they've managed to keep our hand pretty low. We do have a Flow of Knowledge, so fingers crossed we manage to find a land as they cut down our creature. Okay, well there we go. We've got a land, so we'll just play the land and pass our turn, and then we'll cast our Flow of Knowledge in their end step. So hopefully we can draw into some good stuff. Opponent with a Pilfer this time, and oh my, okay. Well, our Flow of Knowledge just drew 4 islands. Yeah, this game is fast going away from us. I guess we could have discarded the Witness Protection there to keep an extra island in our hand. I think at this point I'm just hoping that we draw another draw spell, really. So they're going to attack us with their Misery, and yeah, they're just going to keep pumping that. I guess we'll Fading Hope it when it gets to its end, and see if they want to do it again. Oh, they just want to pass the damage. Alright, well, I'm just going to Fading Hope it now. It costs 2 for them to replay it. There's another land on top. Alright. This has been a really unlucky game, I think. I think opponents had all the right pieces at the right time, and our hand is just not... We haven't drawn the right cards at the right time for ourselves. We do find a Syncopate, so we can Syncopate for 6. Opponent attacks us with their Sleeper for 1. There's Shieldred. Well, we'll definitely Syncopate that. Can't have that sticking around. Oh, and it's just an island. Okay, well... I think at this point I'm kind of ready to scoop this up. I don't really know what we can find to get out of this. We'd need a card draw spell, but opponent's gonna pump their Evolve Sleeper this time and attack us. Oh, another island. Okay, fair enough. Slightly tilted at this point, and yeah, this is a lot of damage. That's 11 damage on board. It's gonna let them do all this, and then we'll see what we draw before we scoop this one up. So this just shows when the cards aren't right, it's our deck Does struggle a little bit. We do need Teferi on the battlefield, but I don't think our card draw has been very good at all. We do find a Scrutiny, and yeah, we'll just cast that for... I just don't think there's anything we can do to get us out of this. We'll cast it for 3 in case we find a Urza's Rebuff maybe, and we can just tap down your opponent's creatures. Okay, it's Fading Hope and a Flow of Knowledge. Maybe a little bit too late. Opponent with more discard, and yeah, that's the end of that game, and we'll move on from that defeat. So thanks for watching. This deck is super fun to play with. Overall, I went 3-2 on the ladder, but I always felt unlucky in the 2 losses. My draws were pretty bad, but I guess without Teferi on the battlefield, it can be hard to get going. This is something I'll take away and see what I can do to improve it, but I do love the Loremaster, and this is a great opportunity to play that card. I'd love to know what changes you would make in the comments. Feel free to subscribe for future videos, and as always, I'll speak to you again very soon.